What if the reason you haven't been able to finish your book isn't really a lack of discipline? What if it's a consequence of you trying to do everything by yourself? In today's video, we're discussing one of the biggest traps that many kingdom writers fall into: isolation. And if you've been stuck, overwhelmed, or constantly second guessing yourself, this video is for you. Hey y'all, welcome to today's Live with Lisa. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and I create videos that help you learn how to write and live God's way. If you want to honor God with both your life and your writing, this is the place for you. Every week, we go live in partnership with Our Given Purpose Ministries, which is an incredible ministry founded by my dear friend, Tori Slaughter, to help you grow in your walk with God and get plugged into godly community. So not only can you watch today's live on YouTube and Instagram, but also on the Our Given Purpose Ministries Facebook page as well. So make sure you get connected in there. So today, as I said, we're talking about isolation. And as a full disclaimer before we get started, I just want to let you know that today's live stream is not actually live. It is pre-recorded. When you see this, I will have just gotten back from doing some traveling and will be getting some much needed rest. But I wanted to take care of you all, my community, and make sure that I had a Live with Lisa episode for you all today. So just know that you can leave your comments below and any questions that you might have, any feedback you might have, and I am absolutely going to get back to each one of you and respond to your comments. So definitely make sure that you are commenting in this live stream and let me know how you feel about the topic for today. So, we are talking about isolation and how devastating that can be for so many writers. See, many writers isolate themselves first and foremost because they think they can do everything on their own. Many writers actually isolate themselves because they think they can do everything on their own. And it's really easy to make that mistake in today's world. We have so much technology. We have so many different tools and software and options at our disposal. We have AI. We have so many different types of AI, different LLMs and different things that we can use, different agents that we can create. And we live in a world where it probably feels like if you can think it, if you can dream it up, you can create it. And there are definitely, I would say, some good things about that and about all the different technologies we have, all the options we have in terms of self-publishing today in particular. But it can, if we're not careful, it can cause us as writers to fall into the trap of thinking that we can do everything ourselves and that we don't need anyone to help us. Many writers, I believe, fall into this trap for a couple of reasons, and there's two I want to touch on really quickly. Um, I would say many writers are afraid to ask for help because either they are afraid of rejection, right? They don't want to deal with the process of, getting feedback from their work and then having people not love what they've created. Or the second one, which I think is especially common, they're afraid of getting scammed. So let's dig into these two ideas. Many writers I have found over the years don't want to have their work rejected. They don't want to go through the process of getting feedback about their work. They're afraid and protective of their stories, which is understandable, right? We all feel a personal connection to what we have written, and we want people to love it. We want people to love it as much as we do. And so there is this temptation to not show our work to anyone and then just to throw it out there and just hope for the best, right? And that is really a tremendous mistake that we can make when we do that. And so another reason why people don't want to get help with their work and they tend to isolate themselves is because they are afraid of a lot of different bad actors that might be out there. And, many of us have experienced this. I've experienced my share as well, right? If you have signed up for a course that didn't turn out so great, or if you signed up for a mastermind or some type of software, some type of service relating to writing that didn't work out so well for you, and you were burned by that, that's going to make you especially concerned and especially cynical about putting yourself out there again. But the problem is, when we try to do everything ourselves and take care of everything ourselves, and including the book cover design and our editing and all of these different aspects of publishing our work, we get that can actually cause more problems. And even if we're not trying to do everything ourselves, but maybe we're just trying to gather information on our own and not really talk to anybody, that can cause problems too. People think that if they just use Google, or they just search everything up in ChatGPT or some type of AI program, or they watch enough videos, or they read enough books, read and listen to enough audiobooks, that they'll figure everything out. And that it's possible to do that, but it can really cause a lot of stress and confusion and overwhelm if you're just trying to gather everything you need from a bunch of different sources. And it can actually cause even more delay and even more confusion and overwhelm. The problem for many writers today is this: we have so many resources available, we have so many options available, and we have so many things that we can do as writers to publish our work, that it actually can make it harder for us to get started. Because where do we start, right? It's like when you stand in the grocery aisle and you see 1,001 different options for bread, right? Have you ever had that moment where you just stand there and just look at all the choices and you're kind of paralyzed, like, I have no idea which one to get, right? Because there's so many choices. And it's great that we have all of those choices, but if we're not careful, that can actually cause us to experience analysis paralysis. And we just stand there and we don't have any idea what to do first. How do we choose? Which option do we go with? And many people just don't end up doing anything. Or they pick the wrong option and then they end up in a worse position than when they started. And so the truth is that isolation, even though it can seem like a smart strategy, many times it will actually slow us down, because we're in our own heads and we can't make a good decision because we don't know what criteria we need to use to make that good decision. And we're surrounded by so many options. The second thing that isolation does for us as writers, and makes things difficult, is it ends our writing journey often before it even starts. If we're not careful, isolation can end our writing journey before it even starts. What do I mean by that? Well, in many cases, it can look like we don't, things like we're not staying consistent because life keeps happening, right? We keep having all these different things that we're trying to do with our work. We're trying to move forward. We're trying to meet our word count goals. We're trying to do everything ourselves. And then we end up not even getting started. We have trouble. If we do get started, we're not consistent. And if we do finally finish a rough draft, we're not sure how to improve it. How do we know what we need to fix? And how much do we need to fix things? Which fixes are really necessary and which ones are just in our own heads? Again, we have so many options and so many choices that it can be overwhelming. And so many of us, when we isolate and we don't get feedback from anyone, we don't have any idea what we need to work on or how we can improve our work, and then we just get stuck in so many different ways. So when a lot of times what happens in this scenario is that writers will just keep tinkering with their work over and over again, working on the same chapter, going around in circles for years and maybe even decades, just kind of tinkering with it here and there, tweaking this word, tweaking this phrase, moving this paragraph around here and there, and then just overthinking and questioning every change we make. And we get to a point where we hit a wall, to where we can't even tell what's good and what's not good about our story anymore. Have any of you been there? I know I have. I've gotten to the point where I was just sick of looking at my own story and tired of trying to figure out what to fix with it. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. And that's what happens so often when we isolate. We can see there are problems with our story, but we can't see them clearly because of how close we are to it. And we need those other perspectives to help us so that we can make those changes and improve it and really make it better. So, the truth in this scenario is we isolate and we get into a type of cycle of isolation where we'll write and then we'll doubt ourselves and then we'll get stuck and then we'll hit repeat and do the same thing over and over again. And many writers spend years in this cycle. It can really be debilitating. And so we have to make sure that we identify when this happens and we make sure that we don't isolate because it can cause so many problems. So, what happens when we choose not to isolate? What does that look like, and why is that important? Well, I love there is an old proverb that I heard years ago that said, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And I would have to say this and give my 2 cents on that. I would argue that when it comes to writing, that it really helps you to go fast and to go far when you're not going alone. When you're not isolated, when you have support, when you have people with you who can really just help you and bring out the best in your work and hold you accountable, you are able to go further, faster than you would if you just tried to do it by yourself. See, you go further and faster when you don't go alone because you get confidence by getting feedback about your work. You're able to hear other people's perspectives about it and then make changes based on what they tell you. You're able to build momentum because you understand what you need to change and what you need to improve about your work. And so you can get to work making those changes. And you have accountability. That's a really big piece of not working by yourself and not isolating yourself. Is because then you have someone checking in with you, asking questions, saying things like, where are you with this story? How's that editing going? How is it going with making those changes? What's your publication date? And you have someone that you can answer to rather than just yourself. And so you're not just dealing with the days when you feel good or you don't feel good, you're motivated versus not being motivated. When you have that accountability from someone else, you're able to really stick to your word more because you have that person that's checking in on you, and it's not just based on only you and whether or not you feel like writing or not. So it can really be helpful in so many different ways. So we talked about why accountability is important and what happens and why it's important for us to not do the work of writing completely alone, why it's important for us to have support on our writing journey. So what does this look like for us going forward? This week, I am announcing a brand new resource that I am excited to share with you all that will help you avoid this particular mistake of isolating yourselves as writers and other common mistakes that really keep a lot of writers from making progress and finding success with their books. So many writers really struggle in their writing journey before they even release their book, and they make a lot of really devastating mistakes that cost them time, money, and energy, and even just cause them to not want to move forward anymore in the future with writing. And so I want to help you avoid making those mistakes. So I'm excited to share this resource with you over the next few days. And it's not only will help you avoid making so many of the common mistakes that writers make in their journey, but it will also help you to know what success looks like and to know how to not keep your ideas scattered, along with giving you clear steps to help you move out of overwhelm and into more focused momentum. So I am excited about this resource that I'm going to share with you in the coming days. And I want you to stay tuned here on Live with Lisa for when I announce it, and also to check out the links that I leave in this description below where you can find out more about this resource that I'll be announcing very, very soon. So if you found today's video helpful, if it encouraged you, and if it gave you some insight on what you might be doing wrong and what you might need to avoid in your writing journey as far as isolating yourself, then I want you to do one thing for me, and that is to hit subscribe. Because if you subscribe, you'll be able to find out when I announce this new resource that is coming out this very week. And you will also be able to join my email list and to find out more about the different products and services that I will be offering in the next few weeks and months and throughout this year. And so make sure that you stay tuned here and make sure that you check the description below for that new information to help you and to get you that resource that I'm talking about that will help you avoid those mistakes in your writing journey. So I want to leave you with this. Do not take this writing journey alone. There is so much of writing that we do have to do by ourselves. We have to, do the rough draft. We have to make those changes and those edits. We have to make decisions about whether we're going to self-publish or pursue traditional publishing. There are a lot of decisions and things we have to do on our own, but we can't make the entire writing journey alone. There are so many aspects of our writing journey that we need help with. We need support. And as I said, we can go further faster when we have support, encouragement, and accountability from others. So make sure that you are bringing other people into that journey with you, and make sure you are looking for those resources that can help you on your writing journey from people who know what they're doing, who have the expertise, and can help you to get to that goal that you're trying to reach. When we go together, when we have that support and that accountability, not only do we go faster, but we experience a lot more success, and our work glorifies God in the process. So that is it for today's Live with Lisa. I will see you next week. Again, stay tuned for that new resource that is coming this week to help you to avoid those writing mistakes and to help you move forward in your writing journey. I am excited and can't wait to release that to you. And until next time, take care and God bless. Happy writing, y'all.